Hi everybody, welcome back. This week we're going to be talking about one of honestly the most common questions that I get asked in my Instagram DMs, which is tips on grad school interviews. So, you've put all this effort into your application and you have finally gotten that interview invite, and now you're panicking. Like, now what? So I'm gonna go through some common questions, some tips on how to answer them, and just some general tips overall. So I'd like to start out by going over some general interview tips and then move into some common questions and tips for answering those. So I think generally, even before 2020, a lot of grad school interviews were done remotely, either over the phone or through video. So if you're preparing for a video interview, then obviously you want to make sure that you look professional. And personally, I like to pull my hair out of my face so that I'm not playing with it while I'm talking. And also prepare yourself in video interviews for some of those tics that you do while talking. Obviously, I talk with my hands a lot, and you want to try to stay away from that a little bit during your interview if it's going to be a video interview. If you're doing a phone call interview, then some of that pressure is off at least, but you still want to be in that professional mindset. I think one of the other things that you should do to prepare for any interview is to not only refamiliarize yourself with your own resume or application, as weird as that sounds. You might get questions like, oh, tell me about X research project you did, or can you explain X research that you did in layman's terms? And so you just want to have general ideas of how you might answer some of those types of questions. But also, you want to do your research even more so into the school or institution that you have the interview with. So you should definitely prepare some questions for them for you to ask at the end of your interview. And those questions should not be things that you can find on their website. So be sure that you have read through almost their entire website. And while you're reading, you can jot some questions down and things like that. This might also, especially for schools and institutions, going through and reading their mission statement and all of that kind of stuff, that can kind of feed into the tone of how you talk about why you want to go to that program, which is one of those common questions that I'll get to in a minute. But definitely just be sure that you have a general idea of sort of what that institution's vibe is. You should already know that from before you applied, but just in case, refresh yourself and do that research on the institution and even the interviewer that you're interviewing with if you know that information beforehand. So now for some more commonly asked questions. I think that probably the first question that we all get asked in many different types of interviews is the tell me about yourself question. So I think for this one, you definitely do not want to just run through your CV or your resume and tell them what you've done, because they already have that information. So you want to be able to give them a little bit more than just that. So if you sort of pick out maybe some top points along your storyline, and they don't even necessarily have to be entirely professional or academically related. They could be a hobby or a sport or something like that. Pull those out and sort of think about how the skills that you use in those different activities, how those would make you a good addition to their community and to their program. And then you sort of tell this narrative story of your motivations for doing things along the way. So not just saying what you did, but why. And I think that is really important for the interviewer to get to know you a little bit more, because that's why they do interviews, is to get to know you and make sure that you feel like a good fit for their community and their program. So you want to show them that. So I think one of the other questions that is commonly asked and can trip some people up is the why this program, or even why this degree. So you obviously want to have a genuine and truthful answer to this, but some of that research from the website might be super helpful in this scenario where, you really understand that school's mission statement and their goals and what their community might feel like, and you sort of frame your honest motivation for pursuing this program and this degree, and you frame that in a way that really kind of mirrors the language that school uses when they discuss their community and their mission statement. That's sort of like a psychology trick. The more that you can sort of mirror the language and even the mannerisms of someone that you're talking about, the more likely they are to like you. And obviously you want your interviewers to like you. So if you can sort of subtly mirror some of that language and even body language, then that's also helpful. But that's just sort of like an added tip that's like sort of super difficult and like you might not even do consciously. So don't think too hard on that. And finally, I just want to say that I think the biggest tip, and I say this to everyone who messages me about grad school interviews, is they're doing these interviews because they want to get to know you as a person. So, try not to be too nervous. Most grad school interviews are relatively informal. They're more of a get to know you type of thing, and be yourself. Try to relax as much as you can and just really show your passion for the degree that you're pursuing, the subject matter that you are wanting to go into for the rest of your life. Show that passion, show why you love it and why you want to be there, and you should be golden. All of these other tips are just extras in the bank. If you can show that passion and, throw in a little bit of experience here and there, then you will have done the best that you could possibly do on your interview. And I wish you all the best of luck. I know that grad school interview season is underway right now. I've been getting so many DMs from you all asking me, for tips on interviews for the programs that I've been to, because you all are getting interview requests there, which is so exciting. And I'm so happy to hear it. And I hope this video has been helpful. Please let me know in the comments down below what other types of grad school videos you might want to see, or med school prep, since I am in the process of applying to medical school this year. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss anything, and I will see you all next week.